someone please tell me why it is 40 degrees outside and I'm drinking a frozen coffee? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. In today's video, we are going to be doing what I assume will be my last declutter of the year. I have 17 products that I'm decluttering. I want that to like sink in for myself for a second, because the fact that I'm decluttering again and I have so many products to declutter just like worries me a little bit, because I've just been buying a lot of makeup recently. So this is like a reality check for myself. We're gonna slow down. We're not gonna purchase a lot. I'm just putting it out there. Also, my hair is a mess. I don't even care. But it's like 9:30 at night and I'm not feeling like redoing it. So anyways, I kind of wanted to have like 21 products to declutter because it's 2021, but I'm not gonna declutter another 4 products just to declutter them. So let's start out with one that I've already gotten rid of, and I think some of you might be surprised actually, but it is the Colourpop the Mandalorian palette, or the Child palette. I'll put a picture here. I have a couple palettes that have green shades in them already, and I just don't wear green enough to justify keeping all of them. And when I looked at all of them, that one was the choice for me because I had it in my Shop My Stash. I kind of reached for it, and I wanted to reach for it, I think about 3 times over the last couple of weeks, and I felt like the looks were pretty, but I just liked my other green palettes better in my collection, even the Essence, the Dancing Greens palette, and then the like mint shades from some of my other palettes, and I just decided to get rid of it. I also had someone that I thought would really enjoy it because she really likes Star Wars, so I went ahead and gave it to her, and I probably would have held on to it a little bit longer and given it to her later, but I was actually going to see her, and I just figured I would go ahead and give it to her because the timing worked out too. So that one I already decluttered, so that's the first one. It's a really good palette. I don't have anything like bad to say about it. I kind of had those shades in my collection already, and I felt like I wouldn't get enough use out of all of them, so I passed it on to someone while it was still pretty new. I actually kind of have a lot of eyeshadow palettes I'm decluttering in today's video, so I guess we'll do this first. Next up is this little Ulta Beauty eyeshadow palette. It's an 8-piece palette. I got this free with purchase. I got the 3-in-1 face palette or something, and this came with it. I actually had some high hopes for this palette, if I'm being honest, because I actually thought it was really pretty, and even when I swatched it, the swatches looked really good. It looked like trash on the eyelids. Like the shimmer shades barely showed up, and it just isn't good, and I don't want it in my collection. So that's definitely a declutter. Next up are gonna be 3 of these Essence palettes. I wanna pass these on to someone else because they're not bad. I don't really like this one, but as a whole, these palettes are really good. But I have these shades. I'm probably not going to reach for these specifically, so I'm going to pass them on to someone who doesn't have as much eyeshadow as I do, and I'm keeping the 3 that I use the most, and that especially the ones I'm using for the beginner makeup series I'm doing on my channel. So these 3 are not in that, and I'll tell you why I'm getting rid of each of them. So the first one is the Making Mauves palette. No, not Making Mauves, that's Colourpop. The first one is the I Like to Mauve It palette. These are the 6 pans from Essence. I don't know if I mentioned that, but if you haven't heard me talk about these, this is the worst one in my opinion. They're very muddy. They don't look very purple. They look just like blah, with the exception of this shade here. The lightest shimmer shade is actually really good, but I cannot justify keeping this for one shade. And if you know that it's kind of muddy going into it, you know, you might not hate it, but I love mauve-y eyeshadow tones. Not wearing them today, but I typically love them, and this just isn't it for me. So I'm going to pass this along. This one they kind of missed the mark on, but I have heard that purples are really hard to formulate, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass. My next least favorite is the Ice Ice Baby, which is the blue palette. It kind of looks like what I have on the eyes today. Could have come from this, which it probably could have, and this is not a bad palette, but these tones of blue just like look a little bit different on me. And the palette that I used to create today's look was the Nomad Fire and Ice palette, and the rare occasion that I actually create a blue look, I'm just a lot more likely to reach into this palette. I don't really need like multiple blue palettes. Also, really quickly, I wanted to tell you the lip combo that I have on today because I'm obsessed with it. It's 3 products. It's a little bit extra, but I'm using the KKW Beauty Nude 1 lip liner, and that's like the optional step, but I did use that. And then I used the e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick in the shade Cider, and then I topped it with the NYX lipstick in the shade Cersei, and I just feel like it looks really good because this lipstick from e.l.f. is a little bit deeper and more like red tone, but the NYX one is too light, like pale by itself for my preference, so I'm really into the combo. And then the last one I'm going to be getting rid of is the Taupe It Up palette. And this one specifically, I'm only getting rid of because I just am a lot more likely to reach into the Glam palette than this one. This is also a really light palette, so I have a hard time suggesting it to you guys because this might not work for everyone. Actually, it's not gonna work for everyone. It's not even a might. Like, this shade not even show up on me. This one kinda like a little bit. So this is really the only one that shows up, and that's still a light matte shade, so it's just not very versatile. I get it though, like it is taupe, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it being light, to be honest with you, but if they were gonna make this light version, I wish they would have made like a deeper version and called it, I don't know what else, but like, you know, smoke something. I'm probably just more likely to reach for the Glam palette, and again, I just want someone to get some use out of this, and it's just probably not going to be me. Last up is a palette I actually just put in this thing today, and I'm decluttering it for a very weird reason, but when you have a pretty extensive eyeshadow collection, you can kind of be a little bit picky about why you keep products, and I'm decluttering this palette from Ciate London, and I had a hard time coming to terms with this because this was gifted to me by one of my friends, so that's not why I'm decluttering it. I'm decluttering it because I feel so silly saying this. I have broken my fingernails twice trying to open this palette. It is so stinking difficult to open. Like, let me try and show you. Like, this is seriously like when I want to use it, and I used it earlier today, how difficult it is to open it. And I do like the shades inside, but they're a little bit more subtle. And I think that someone would really enjoy this palette, especially since it is newer, but it just, I have broken my fingernails, my like thumbnails trying to open this twice, 2 different times. And maybe I'm just like too, I don't know what to open it, but I'm gonna pass it along. I also ordered a palette in the Black Friday sale that's like kind of similar to this one, so you'll see that pretty soon on my channel, but I think that someone else might be able to get some better use out of this one because I just really don't reach for it because it's so difficult to open. And I was using like a little pin to open it, but then I had to find the pin and I just wasn't using it enough. And yeah, but it is a really pretty palette, but I'm going to be decluttering it because of that. Those are all of the eyeshadow palettes that I'm decluttering, which is actually a lot, even though some of them are small, but I do have a couple more eyeshadow products. I have decided to pass these along. These are the Too Faced Melted Chocolate Matte Eyeshadows, and I actually wore one of these on Thanksgiving, and they're not bad, I'll keep saying that, but for my makeup preferences and style and application process, it's just a little bit too hard for me to blend. And I was using them for a while as like liquid liners, but they're very specific colors. And I think that they're so pretty. And every time I swatch them, I almost regret the thought of decluttering them. But like truthfully, I've probably only used each of these like 5 times, no more than 7 times, I would say. No more than 10, but probably closer to like 5 to 7. So they're just these like liquid shadows that you're supposed to be able to use on their own or as a base. They're just a little bit too like extra for me. They take a little bit too much work. And even when I'm going for like that a little bit more over the top, more fun look, this is just not the route that I'm going for, even though I want it to be. And I think that they're a really good, I love the colors. That's what really makes me want to keep them. And that's why I'm not going to swatch them today. I'm sorry. But if you're wondering, I have the shades Tiramisumi and Warm and Fudgy, but they're just, I just can't get them to work like I would want them to. Next up is a product I'm going to be moving to my makeup kit to use on other people, and it's just because it's a little bit too deep. And I also have a foundation in my collection that is very comparable to this one. The likelihood of me like mixing anything to make this lighter is just, it's probably not gonna happen. I'm just gonna reach for the other foundation that already matches me. This is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I have it in the shade 002. I think it's the lightest shade, and it's still like way too deep for me. So I've actually used up a good bit of this. I think I just kind of shook it, but when it settles, I've used up like about a fourth of it. But I've been really careful about wearing sunscreen every day, and because of that, I really haven't gotten a lot of color, even in the summer, so it was still too dark for me. Why is it that every time I sit down to film, a train goes by? You guys see my new little Christmas trees over here? I was filming a video earlier today and another train went by. I never noticed them until I'm filming. Like, I never noticed the train go by. But this foundation is just a few shades too deep for me, and because of that, I'm just gonna move it into my makeup kit. It's still a really great foundation and I do enjoy using it, but it's just not a good color for me, and I'm not willing to mix because I don't already have a product that's light enough to mix with things, because I'm typically the lightest shade in like everything. So I'd have to really go out of my way to find something that's light enough to mix with it and make it lighter. If I just mix a foundation that already matches me, it just gets like a little bit too dark for me instead of way too dark for me, and that still is too dark for me. So I'm just gonna move it and not use it for myself anymore. I have one other product I'm going to be moving to my makeup kit, and it's this lipstick from Milani. So I picked this up because I thought the color looked really pretty, and it is really pretty, but I just honestly don't reach for it. This is in the shade Dulce Carmelo, and it's actually really recent to my collection, so I'm just going to sanitize it and then use it in my makeup kit because I actually think it's a really pretty bridal color. So I'm going to move it to that, but I just don't really reach for it. It's like shimmery. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, which is really pretty, and why I think it'd be really like pretty for bridals, because some brides don't want a matte lip, and I think that that's a really nice option, so I want to have it in there. A product that I am getting rid of, and I'm so disappointed by it because I've heard so many good things, but I used it today and I was like, no, it's going, it's out of my collection. It is this Milani Conceal and Perfect. So another product from Milani, which I do like several products from them, especially those lipsticks that are like going crazy right now. They're really good, but this is so drying. And I've got plenty of other concealers that I would love to actually work through that I just don't want to deal with this one. I've actually used a good bit of this, and I think I've used up down to here is the lowest part, and you can actually like see in here to see that I've used all of that. So I've almost used up about half of it, but it's just so drying. It has pretty good coverage, but my skin is already really dry, so I just feel like it might work better for someone who doesn't already have really dry skin. Also, that color is like really dark for me, which I don't understand. I have in the shade 110 Nude Ivory, and I feel like it looks like a good color, but it's really dark and really drying, so that one's just going to have to go. Next up is this blush from M Cosmetics. If you guys saw my makeup products I regret purchasing, this shows up in that, as well as those liquid shadows. Actually, I think that video really got me thinking like, I'm gonna try these because I like the grungy colors, and I tried them for Thanksgiving and I was like, no, still just not my thing. But I'm gonna be getting rid of this M Cosmetics blush. I actually just bought it, and it's in the shade Little Lilac. I talked very extensively on why I don't like this blush in that video of makeup I regret purchasing, so I'm gonna have that linked in the eye and also down below if you want to hear more about this, but this is going to be leaving my collection. A couple more products that I actually mentioned in that makeup I regret purchasing video are these lip liners from NYX. I mentioned in that video that I had gotten 3 of them, but I actually really like the color of this one, which is in the shade Nude Beige. So I'm going to be keeping this one because like I said, I love the color of it. It's a very cool tone lip liner. And the formula is, I don't know why I pointed, it's the only one, but the formula of this one is just a little bit more creamy than the other two. It's still a drying lip liner, but it's just a little bit better. But specifically the one that I really regretted was this one in the shade Flower, because it's like shimmery, it's like a baby doll pink, and it just looks bad, and I don't know why I got it. I really don't. But then I'm also going to be decluttering this one in the shade Pale Pink. I wore this the other day. it's not bad, but it just like did not look good on me. Like it has just a weird undertone. It didn't really look like this like mauve color on the lips for some reason, and I don't know, I just don't see myself reaching for it, so I'm not going to be keeping it. I wish I hadn't spent the money, even though these are really cheap. It's better, I feel like, to just spend a couple more dollars or even like $1 more and get the one that has like nude suede shoes. The one with like the really long name, that's a really good lip liner. But these are just a miss for me. We've just got 3 more products. So third to last is this Ulta Beauty Lash Evolution Fortifying and Conditioning Mascara. This one again was free with purchase. I do not like this mascara. I thought it was okay at first, and it's not like it's the worst one I've ever tried, but it just doesn't do a whole lot. It's a pretty standard basic mascara, but I've got plenty of other ones that are open right now that I like a lot more, so I'm just going to be getting rid of this one. Another product from Ulta, this one's not bad. Again, it was free with purchase. Now I did get a couple of products from that free with purchase, like the eye primer, the face primer, and then the lip crayon thing that I really like. So it wasn't all misses, but there were several duds, and this is one of them, unfortunately, just because it's just kind of cheap feeling. But this is their lip gloss, and it's called their Jelly Gloss. But I just have plenty of lip glosses that this one's just really not that special, and I just don't think I will use it. It's just a pretty plain color, honestly. And then the last product that I'm going to be decluttering is this one from e.l.f. This is the matte lip crayon in the shade Wine. Now, I'm actually a little bit bummed about this one because I really like the color, but this smells like a crayon, like a drawing crayon. And I just feel, it grosses me out when I use it, honestly, but I love the color. But like when you put a lip product on, your lips are right by your nose, so you just smell it all the time, and it's just really, really, really smells like a Crayola crayon. So that just grosses me out, honestly, like it really does, and I don't want to use it. But I love the color, so it's kind of a bummer. Again, that one was actually free with purchase as well from e.l.f.'s website. So these free with purchases are very hit or miss for me. Unfortunately, we had some misses that we talked about in this video. But alright guys, that is it for today's video. Those are the 17 products I'm going to be decluttering from my collection. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I think this is going to be my last declutter of the year, just because I'm not going to declutter things just to get rid of them. These are products that I think someone else can enjoy more, or that just probably need to be trashed. So they're going to be leaving my collection one way or another, and I wanted to share that with you guys. But I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, let me know down below if there's any videos you want to see from me, because I think I'm going to be uploading as much as possible in December. Nowhere near Vlogmas, because I just don't think that's very feasible in my life right now. But I will be trying to upload more in the month of December. If you have any video suggestions for me, please go ahead and leave those down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!